They had a legal separation. My father was, he was violent and abusive. And when my father left, we lost the house. So we moved to an apartment close to my maternal grandparents. And my grandfather, he helped us with the rent, financially with the rent and some of the expenses. And my father, we would see him every now and then, every once in a while. And I was just so happy to see him. I remember when he picked us up to visit him, I put my arms around him and I just cried. And I looked up at him and I could see him hold his head up because he didn't want his tears to come. I remember the last time that he picked us up, I will never forget that. He drove up slowly, and we would wait out in the front yard playing with a ball or something. So, oh, Daddy's here. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy. And I saw him, and he pointed at us, and he started laughing. And then he drove slowly away. And it just broke my heart. It just crushed me. And from then, we ran upstairs, and we cried, and we told our mother. And from then, I built an invisible shield around me, my broken heart, because I didn't want anybody to hurt me again. And then...
may I ask, did he ever see you again?
Not really. Not really. I would hear my mother and my father arguing on the phone. The children need shoes, they need clothes, you know, and he would laugh, you know, and that was hard.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. So what you're saying is you built a protective wall to then shield against any other hurts, right? But you didn't really see him again ever? I mean, did he know of your accident?
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah.
In fact, somehow he got there to the hospital in Salt Lake City with my mother and my grandmother, and he was there. I was so happy to see him.
Wow.
I forgot all about the trauma that I went through.
Of course. Well, was that a healing then for you?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Even though I just remember the times when I loved him.
Well, that does conquer all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear he was there during a time of extreme need, obviously. And I love your stories about, in a way, coming through that abuse. It seems to me like the accident almost really healed all that beginning, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It took a while after I came home, started going to school, and I finally got my own place. I got my independence back, and I got away from all, because after I got out of the hospital, I had to go back in that same place where I left. But my mother lived upstairs, and I lived with my grandmother. What was I going to say? That I went back to the program because the professor, he hired me to work in the program that I had studied when I was a child. So I worked in the office. He also allowed me to play a violin solo on the at the concert hall. And that made me feel good because he believed in me. He had confidence in me when no one else did.
I remember you saying that nobody would really hire you, that since you were disabled, they saw you very differently, like you weren't capable, right?
Right.
But you're the same Donna, right?
Yeah. But that was shocking to me. I didn't expect that. I was so happy to get back into the world that I would tell people that I want to go to school, I want to drive a car, I want to have a career, and people would say to me in opposition, they would say, well, you can't do that, you're handicapped. And I was shocked. And I remember someone saying that that I wanted to, because I wanted to drive a car, they would say, you know, well, just sit around and do it like the Greyhound bus and leave the driving to us. And that infuriated me. Yeah. So the next time someone would say that to me, because I would still express myself because I was excited about life, and I wouldn't let anybody sway me in another way or change my mind. The next time someone said that, they said, well, you can't do that. And I said, oh, yeah? Well, watch my smoke. And it surprised them. And it gave me personal power. And it helped me to go on and do what I wanted to do in my life.
But I think there's a really good lesson here. Here you are. You've obviously survived an airplane crash, traumatic physical abuse, well, we'll call it what dislike or hate or upset from a father, and yet what you're saying is that you were excited about life, you were passionate, you retained your hope. How did you do that, Donna?
I don't know, because of the love that I had from the people in the music program. I had a piano teacher. She saw the pain in me, and she embraced me, and she took me under her wing to try to protect me. She invited me to spend the night at her home. She invited me to see her perform. She was a brilliant pianist at the piano club close to the campus. She was just beautiful. She taught me how to knit. She sent me birthday cards with designs and symbols that represented my African American heritage. She gave me books by Langston Hughes and James Baldwin, and I just loved her.
Oh, so somebody saw you and saw your spark too,
Right.
and I think that's a piece of it, isn't it?
Yes, yes, and that's where I drew my strength from, and my excitement about life, because when I had my accident, my piano teacher, Barbara Shearer, she was in Italy with her husband, who had won a fellowship. And when they found out, she would send me letters of love and support. And that kept me going. That made me know that someone loved me.
Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know you inspire so many. I'd love to hear, if we may, how we may get in touch with you, how our viewers might get in touch with you.
Well, my email address is at donna.donnaallenlive.com.
And that's Allen with an A-L.
A-L-L-E-N.
Wonderful, thank you. And if you'd like to reach us, please, you can go to jilllublin.com/messages of hope. So I'm very inspired by who you are and have become, and your no matter what attitude. And I know we were talking about cars, and I asked you if you drove over here. Oh yeah, I drove over here, and you told me about your retrofitted car and how you had more height on your car. And for me, I started thinking, you know, so many of us take so much for granted. We get in our car, we drive, that's it, right? I mean, for you, what's a day like? What's the process of Donna's day?
Well, before my accident, I just got up and went.
Yeah.
But actually, I plan my moves because I have to make sure that things are safe for me. And because I learned how to redress myself when I was in the hospital, it's easier for me to do that because it's automatic now. But I have a hospital bed, I have this special wheelchair, and I get up and I actually plan my day. I have my day timer and things like that.
How long does it take you to get ready?
It takes me about 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got to wake up, do my personal business, get dressed, and get myself together, and it takes me a while,
longer,
but I plan for it.
Yeah, how wonderful. And I know obviously with your independence, you can really live life, you know, like everybody, right? I mean, do you feel that there's any blocks in life? I mean, what's in your life?
I just live my life. I'm glad that they passed the Americans with Disabilities Act to make things more accessible. Because before, if I wanted to go get groceries, there wasn't not enough parking, and I would have to go home because of the inability to get where I need to. But with the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, you can get into buildings now, and there's more parking, and I feel more independent.
Yeah, I can imagine it must have opened up a whole new world, right?
Yes.
I mean, didn't you say you got your vehicle like 10 years ago? That must have just opened up the ability to be mobile, to go everywhere, to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that, where they made things possible, and they've invented things for hand controls and wheelchair ramps for your car. I have a minivan. And to make life easier for people with physical challenges.
Yes, that's incredible. What's in your future?
Well,
what are you working on?
I'm writing a book about my life and what I've survived, the trauma and the things that I had to go to get to where I am today. And also I talk about the airplane crash, the trials and tribulations that got me to that tragic point.
Do you, if you were to be speaking to people about your message of hope, what is it?
Well, what I want to tell people is that we all have tools to get us through situations and tragedies that we have in life. And I feel that we can use these tools, and we may have dealt with traumas like we may have lost our jobs, or we've been bankrupt, or we've become disabled, or we're ill, or we have lost a loved one. But at that point, we need to make a choice. We can choose to let it overpower us, or we can choose to move on, to push on. And I feel that we all have values, and we all have gifts and things that we can offer. And each one of us has something to offer in this world. And when you know that, then you will be a better person for it.
Mm. Oh, now those are good words.
Mm-hmm.
What's your gift?
My gift is that I have a story. God gave me a story. I didn't have anything to say before, and people would tell me, you should write a book. And I thought, I can't write a book, but I have a story of hope, and that we have personal strength, that we can make a difference in this world. And that's what I want to share with people,
Yes.
that you can do it.
Yes. Well, you certainly have, and you certainly are doing it.
Yeah.
And I wish all the best for you, because it's
Thank
just
you.
delightful to see what you've done, how you're rolling on. I don't know if they can really see the wheelchair and this wild, wonderful mobility.
Yeah, it's got bells and whistles.
Do you have a name for it?
No, but you know what? I have a name. I don't have a name for a violin, but it's a female.
Oh.
But no, she's just my wheelchair.
And have you been doing any concerts lately?
No, but I went to a concert. My sister and I, Deborah, she went to, she would visit at the university when we had concerts and things like that. Maybe about a year or so ago, we went to the Berkeley Opera, and we saw The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart. And I remember playing the overture to the Marriage of Figaro in the University Symphony Orchestra, so I was singing along quietly though, but I enjoyed that.
Well, it seems like finding a hobby, finding a passion, finding something that one can relate to is really key, right? For healing. Because it sounds to me like your violin helped you heal,
Yeah.
Your music helped you heal.
It saved my life, and it healed me.
Yes, and may it continue to do so.
Yes, yes.
Do you find hope in any other instrument? Is it particularly the violin?
Hope for me? Well,
yeah, hope for you.
I haven't played the piano in quite a while. I can play a little bit of something, but I've fallen in love with the violin because I can manipulate it, and it speaks to me.
Yes. Well, we've fallen in love with you. So thank you, Donna, for being on Messages of Hope.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And it's our sincere hope that by tuning in tonight, your heart's been touched, and we've given you messages of hope.